All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 reporting in after a little bit of a hiatus. I was painting a little bit. I had Operative Vader to paint, Operative Luke to paint, and then I was finishing in ATRT for the Rebels. So today I wanted to come out with an Empire list. I have been kind of watching a lot of war movies. We Were Soldiers I've watched recently, and then I'm really into history and I really like World War II stuff. And so I've been watching a lot of World War II strategy stuff with like Patton and a bunch of other things. And so it kind of got me into a list for Empire. It's funny. So basically, what I'm going to wind up doing, I want to do a tank list, and there's a lot of things that I want to kind of cover and go over in this. But basically, let me go ahead and check this out for you guys. Okay, so with the Occupier Tank, I'm going to go with the Occupier Tank. And what to me goes really well with the Occupier Tank for this is an E-Web. Okay. Now, with the Occupier Tank, I think that you could go with a range of options. You really could go with, um, uh, what's her name? Sorry, Governor Price. I couldn't even think of it. I can't say it. My thing's in the way. But you could go with Governor Price. Maybe let's see, there we go. That's a little better for now. You could get the field commander. You won't have to find an actual commander, and you could probably go with an operative. You could probably do something a little bit different, but that's honestly up to you. So I'm actually going to move that back. There we go. Just up all the way. I'm illiterate with this shit. I'm sorry. So, okay. So yeah, for now, I'm going to go with the Imperial Hammers pilot, and I'll explain why, because I've got the list in mind, so I already kind of know what I'm going to do, but explain it. So, and then the RT-97C, I think is going to be great because if you're going to surge, you're going to be rolling more dice. You don't need to rely on just the two. I think that, and it's cheaper. I think it's a better option. Onboard comms channel for now, I think it's going to be good because for the E-Web, we're going to give it the linked targeting array so that it'll get an aim, and then the barrage generator. So that way we'll be able to shoot with suppression. And then if you give your order to the tank, it'll give it to the E-Web, which will give the E-Web an aim due to linked targeting array. And then you would always be able to, aim with the Occupier Tank, or depending on who you pick as your commander, I'm going to go with Veers. So I haven't really made a Veers list at all. And so I kind of want to use him. He's decent for his price. I think he's decent. Now he's not going to be really good at melee, and you're going to get a lot of melee people. And so I'll go over this and I'll try to cover that aspect of the list to make sure that it's still melee capable, heavy melee capable, but still really good at firepower so that you can use this list to your advantage for a lot of things. So with Veers, let's see. Your Occupier Tank and your E-Web already surge. And as far as I know, everything else that we're going to use will surge as well. So we don't need aggressive tactics unless you planned on putting more, infantry in there or, core units. But that's completely up to you. If you wanted to, I've done this list with Kallus before because you don't necessarily need Veers' cards, and I think Kallus's cards work better. So for this situation, I'm gonna go with Kallus. And if we need to go cheaper, I'll go with a cheaper option. Because you really can't beat Veers' cheapness. But for this one, we're gonna put Vigilance because he'll eventually be able to get a dodge. And you're gonna want to take dodges with him. And when he doesn't get shot, so that way they don't really have the chance to use his flaw card very often. If you wanted instead, honestly, the other thing to do is Esteemed Leader, which is the same amount of points. So that way, just in case that he does get shot at, he doesn't get, you can transfer a hit. Now, you can also go with any of these. I'm going to go with Tenacity because I want some melee to be covered. He's going to be behind as much cover as possible. So we're just going to go ahead and give him his bow rifle. The other thing, we need some core units. So shore troopers, I really like shore troopers. We're going to go with a mortar and then definitely some snows. Now, let's see, with the shore trooper, let's go ahead and give him the T-21B. And then with the snow troopers, we're going to go ahead and do Dell. Now, because we're only going to have one vehicle, we're not going to need more than Dell, I think. I mean, to take 2 wounds off, immediately, I think is pretty big. So that's a great thing. Now, if you really wanted to, instead of using Kallus, you could go with Veers. You could go with aggressive tactics on Veers and then maybe the electro binoculars, and it would still be cheaper than this. And then with that surge, you could give the Occupier Tank better defense, which would be awesome. Along with your E-Web, you could give it better defense because it's not going to have the best defense in the world, not surging. So, well, I mean, it's good, 50-50 chance, but you know, it's even better whenever you're able to get that surge. So it'd be awesome if you did actually do that. But that it's just kind of up to you. I think it would be great. Now, what I was planning on doing to keep at least everything safe would be 2 Dewback riders with tenacity to make sure that they're really good in melee, and then the T-21, or sorry, the T-21 blaster. And we're going to do 2 of those. That'll put us at 8 activations under 700 points. Now, the other thing that I was planning on doing, because you have Agent Kallus, which is great at melee, and you have the Dewback riders, which are great at melee, and then you have the Occupier Tank and the E-Web, along with the shore troopers and the snow troopers, who can give some really good firepower out. Now, the other thing I was going to do to create a really good cheap activation were some strike teams. Now, with the strike teams, I was planning on covering my rear with the Saboteur and doing 2 of those bad boys. Because, I mean, okay, so with the tank, I think you're going to have cover. You're going to have a lot of heavy cover. You're going to be able to use that for your snows or your shores if you decide to keep them back there. If not, you could at least use your strike team to maintain cover, putting out some sonic charges, and then you could even cover one of your flanks with these saboteurs. That way you don't have anyone coming from the sides. And then you can also kind of protect your tank's flank. It's up to you. I think it's a really good idea to kind of bring them, because you're already going to have heavy firepower with Occupier Tank, the E-Web, the shore troopers, and the DF mortar is going to get long range. You've got a sniper with the snow troopers. This will also give you 15 extra points. Now, you can do a lot with that 15 extra points. You could probably put an extra snow trooper in there and another shore trooper in there. So let's just pretend and say that instead of Agent Kallus and using his command cards, I think he's got great command cards, especially with Cunning, able to go first with his commands. You have Face Me, which will be great against Jedi. You also have the ISB Investigation, which would be also great against Jedi, making sure that, or anyone really, making sure that they can't do some of their most powerful cards. And then the Ruthless Tactics, being able to get observation tokens, especially with, you know, some shore troopers or some snow troopers with the critical shore troopers and the critical E-Web. I think it'd be awesome. So you have that option. If you really wanted to, if you wanted to get rid of Kallus and you wanted to put Veers in, let's see, it's going to be at the bottom. You could do the aggressive tactics, like I said, just to up the defense a lot, and then electro binoculars to kind of make sure everyone is getting an extra aim. And you've got basically 31 extra points left to do anything with. So maybe if you wanted to, you could give your shore troopers a medical droid, leaving 12 points left. Still 10 activations. You could do with the snow troopers, you could just do a regular snow trooper, or if you actually wanted with the snow troopers, you could do an astromech droid just to absolutely keep everyone alive, or the tank alive. the best you can and still giving you a 3-point lead. Both lists giving you 10 activations. And then with Veers, you could use his maximum firepower really well. The evasive maneuvers might not be the absolute best, but you could do the pin down because you've got 3 support and 1 heavy. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot to choose from here. You gave it to your heavy, which would also give it to your E-web. And then you could give your other one to the Dewback rider. Also, one of the other things you could do is if you really wanted to, you could get rid of the extra, that astromech droid, giving you that 12 points, and then maybe on one of the Dewbacks, giving yourself an HQ uplink. And then, like I said, with the 2-pip, where pin down after maximum firepower and ambush, you do push and pin down, because like I said, now you've got 2 that you can put down. You put 1 on the tank, which will give it to your E-web, and then you put the other one on the Dewback, and then your other Dewback does HQ uplink. You've got 4 tokens already on the ground. So yeah, that's good. If you really, really wanted to, you could probably get rid of something to put Veers. Get rid of, let's see, you have to get rid of something with 3 or more. No, I wouldn't get rid of any of those. Maybe get rid of the HQ uplink if you wanted to put a little bit something more on here, like what was it? Improvised orders in case you needed. But with the pin down, if you gave it to your Dewback riders and let your Dewback riders go first, with Relentless and Spur, you're definitely going to be able to put that order token back into the order pool if you're able to go first with that 2-pip. So it's kind of like a risk. It's kind of up to you. And then with the Imperial Discipline, you could give it to Veers, the tank again, and then the Dewback rider, with the HQ uplink, let the Dewback rider with the HQ uplink, recover, and then do push for another 2-pip, letting 2 people go, giving it to the tank, which will give it to the E-web, and then giving it to your Dewback rider while the other Dewback rider does HQ uplink, and then your heaviest, best weapons are all ready to go every single time. So that's perfect. And then if you wanted to do coordinate, you could, but you really only have 3 core units, so I wouldn't waste it on that. I would do assault and try to do the best you can, getting all your Dewback riders again going, or you could always make sure that your strike teams have order tokens, so that way you can make sure that you're setting up the minefield, setting up the flanks. It's kind of up to you on what you want to do. I think that with the objectives in this, you're not going to want breakthrough, and even if it was breakthrough, maybe you could leave the E-web on your side to protect like your zone, your deployment zone. Intercept the transmissions. I mean, you've got an Occupier Tank, which will give you heavy cover. So if you can find a way to use that Occupier Tank to give you that constant cover, use it. Kind of turn it if you need to. Key positions, you can keep an E-web in the very, very back just in case, to consistently keep the back well or the back secured, and then you can keep the mortar in the back as well with the E-web to keep your emplacement troopers focused on the back, giving fire support consistently, and then covering your back. Then recover the supplies, wouldn't be too bad. Sabotage the moisture evaporators. You're just going to make sure that your Occupier Tank and everyone just consistently holds everyone back. Hostage exchange with snow troopers, you're in a really good position. Bombing run, you might not be in the best position. And then payload, you've got a tank, you've got cover. So I think that you're in a really, really good position. So honestly, I think with all of these objectives, you're going to do really well with this 10 activation Empire list with the Occupier Tank, General Veers, or Kallus. It's kind of up to you on which strategy you choose to go with. Either or, you're going to pretty much get the same kind of orders. You're going to get the same kind of order cards. So Command cards. Oh my gosh, I couldn't think of it. But yeah. All right, guys, if you like this video, please subscribe. Definitely like this video, leave a comment, and then I'll try to come up with another video next week as soon as I can. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next time.